Now on this particular sign we have 3 factory edges, and we have one that was cut using a skill saw. So it's not quite as even as the rest, and this is it right here. It's not bad, but still, it's not as even as the rest. This edge is going to be the bottom of the sign. So when you look at it, the edges and the top are completely factory cut. They'll look straight, they'll look clean, sharp, and because of that, the bottom will also look that way. I'm just going to take some cleaner. I'm actually using Windex here. I know all the people know. Now when I set this up, I made this the top of the sign. So if we get this registered, and remember that these pieces of tape, that's our 4-foot mark. So we have a way to register the pattern. I'm going to want some tape, just to tape the top so it doesn't slide around when we're working with it. Well, this doesn't really have any real lines. We have a lot of give and take for this that we can do. Okay, get the chalk bag. Now this is a hand-see chalk bag, pounce bag, and this plug comes out. You put your chalk in here, push this back in. This also comes out. And one of the things to remember is when you're working with this, dark surfaces get blue chalk, and light surfaces get black, which is more of a charcoal than a chalk. Never use red. Red is a staining color, and it's almost impossible to get it back off your project. Now what we can do is we can just unhook this and pick this up, make sure everything comes through properly. This is part of the reason to tape it down also. Looks great. When you tape it, it's like a registration mark. So you can set it back down in the same place, just in case there was a section that didn't get pounced properly. Now the next step, in this case a white grease pencil, and just start drawing on your tree and your lettering. So basically you get to draw this a few times, and then when you paint it, that painting it really is the final drawing, and the most important one. Doesn't have to be exact, especially with this looser design. Going by at whatever speed, nobody's going to say, hey, that's not exactly like that. It's important too, if you're going to sharpen these, you should always use a razor knife. And the reason is, this is a water soluble tip. You can wash this back off with Windex or whatever. But also, if you put it in a pencil sharpener, it'll get hot and it will melt. So always use a knife to sharpen it. So as you can see, I'm just finishing up the R in roots. It's pretty common to have to sharpen a lot, especially on a hot day. This chalk gets very, this grease pencil gets very, very soft, so it erodes really quickly. So then we'll just finish up the tree, the roots. The rag that I cleaned it off with is still damp, and I just pull the chalk dust off the top of it. Just like that. Now as you can see by this drawing, it has a heavy border around it. And it's so clean and so powerful in the actual video or the picture that it overpowers the sign. So I'm going to change that just a little bit. It's going to be maybe a ½ inch wide. We'll leave black on the outside of it. Now I'm just using the paint stick to draw this. So I have one color that I'm going to use. The rest I'm going to have to go get. This is Impervex Benjamin Moore. That's what I use on top of all my signs. And this is called Mustang. And I'm using this is a MAC brush. It's a flat. It's 5/8 inches wide. The brown tip means it's for water-based paint. Now we've switched to a liner brush, same color paint. It's good to remember how far away this needs to be seen from. You don't want them too thin because you're not going to be able to see them from a distance. It's going out by the road, so it's really important to keep them a little heavy. For this next step, I'm going to use a ½ inch flat water-based brush. We're going to be doing screaming yellow, sunshine yellow. Need to put it in the water, and away we go. Now this might need 2 or 3 coats. Yellow is not a real good paint for covering, especially on a black surface. I'm going to try and thicken this up just a little bit here. This font is a little weak for a distance. The distance is going to be seen at. Just thicken her up a little bit.